it depends upon the nature of how the business was actually set up. It sounds like from the nature of that question, it would be a voluntary dissolution as opposed to an involuntary dissolution. Involuntary dissolution is usually when people have decided to walk away from the business and then they just don't file the necessary renewal papers with the state of Florida, so the state dissolves the entity for you. They're like, well, if you're not going to pay our annual fee, then your company's going to be dissolved. But they also could be dissolved through bankruptcy. They could be dissolved through a court order, which is kind of more rare. But it sounds like from your instance, you'd be referring to a voluntary dissolving of the company. And again, your documents that you use to organize the company should guide how it's going to be dissolved. And I talked earlier about right of first refusal, because there may be a dissolution, but the business entity may continue. So, you could dissolve somebody's interest, but still continue either under that particular business organization or form another organization, or everybody could walk away and do something completely different. And, typically you have to make sure that the creditors are paid unless you're going to go the bankruptcy route. But as long as the business is at least not in the red and is solvent from that point of view, then there would be distribution of the assets, and that would be according to the organizational documents, the governing documents of that particular business. And if that's not addressed at all, which is pretty unusual because usually those are addressed unless you just filed, like I said, the articles of incorporation or the articles of organization if it's an LLC, and then you don't go any further, then you probably would need to have a judge get involved unless everybody could just agree upon it, and then you sign an agreement and say this is how the assets are going to be distributed. Everybody signs off, so you can't sue later because you waived your right to do so, unless somebody breaches a term of that settlement agreement. So that's typically how that would be handled. And if somebody has a case like that, but they have more specific questions, and the answers would be more specific, obviously. But that's kind of a general overview of how dissolution would work.